it's that understanding of how you know what your power is, even if it doesn't look like you have power, that I think are so important. That it's those like kind of comments, that worldview that I think she has helped me to shape, that I think about what it means to be an effective leader. And so, to distill, it's not just about grandioseness. It's not about like, how do I project outwardly? It's knowing where your core sense of power actually is, and then employing that, and like having a real sense of self when you put yourself, out there on the world stage. And I think oftentimes, my criticism of African leadership would be that we move to the grandiose very quickly, right? It's all about like pomp and circumstance, and that like core inner sense of just like of quiet power, of knowing when not to move, of knowing when to take a stand, of knowing how to take that stand. Again, of being integrated, like your sense of self, your inner self, and the outer projection being like very close. Like, I think that's what I've learned about leadership from my mother, right? And I think I see that in other people who we consider to be really powerful and important leaders. And it's everything in the way that she moves. I mean, for example, like I'll poke you a little bit on this idea of like her wearing traditional gear. This actually comes from that thing that we did on diversity across the continent, where somebody put up a picture of a wedding dress, and then they put up a picture of somebody rocking quote unquote traditional gear, and they asked which one of these is traditional, right? And that's the framework that I think we need to break. And I think that's a statement that she makes like every time she gets out and wears quote unquote traditional gear. She's just wearing what people would wear in Nigeria, right? And saying like, you want to rock a suit to this thing, well, it's power for me to get up and say I'm going to rock my own thing, and they're on par with each other. And you don't think about it, but like that is also what leadership is about. It's not about necessarily getting up and pounding the table every time. It's about saying, I am going to be true to an understanding of who I am as an African woman, and I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to be brave and courageous enough to show you that. And then what happens, which I really love, is like when you see other people say, I didn't have the courage to do that until I saw your mom out there rocking, our clothing. And now I do it because like it, like it's power. Like it means a lot to me to be able to like inhabit myself as myself in a public space and not worry about what people are going to say. That in my mind is what leadership is about, as much as it is like, making statements to prime ministers and like shaking hands with all the world's most powerful people.